Barcelona are back on top of La Liga, and it's all down to some interesting changes in Hansi Flick's system. Remember, prior to matchday 25, Barcelona were trailing Real Madrid by 2 points and had 1 foot out of the Copa del Rey.
Yes, it's yet another step forward for Barcelona. See, this could have been a difficult, traumatic weekend for Barcelona had Real Madrid won their game. It would have put some pressure on this match, much more so than what it became. Once Real Madrid wins, the weekend turns. Now it's, oh, we're not trailing by 5. We're actually presented with an opportunity to go top of the table once again, something that they were not expecting. Look at us. Yeah, it's a step forward.
Well, after a dramatic turn of events over the weekend, they're back to the top of the table. Joao Cancelo looking like a Barcelona player again. Frenkie De Jong scoring his first goal of the season. What is going on? Are we starting to see some changes from Hansi Flick that could transform Barcelona as they head into the business end of the season? Well, in this video, we are going to break it all down, and to start things off, why don't we talk about some tactics? Now, Barcelona started in the usual 4-2-3-1 with notable changes in their starting lineup. Now, we will get to how these impacted the game in a minute, but if we look at Levante's lineup, they started in a 5-3-2 with the intention of playing in a low block and hitting Barcelona on the counter. But this proved quite difficult for them because this time around, it seemed as though Hansi Flick got his defensive structure right. You see, with the introduction of Marc Bernat and Joao Cancelo in the starting lineup, it meant that we had someone in the pivot position who could get around the pitch well enough to provide defensive cover. But more importantly, against the low block, Joao Cancelo's inclusion complemented the presence of Lewandowski. We've said this in previous videos. When you play Lewandowski, you need to have players that can get the ball to him in the box.
Lots of attacking work for him early on here. Another good looking cross. Again, to the right it goes, and again Cancelo's cross comes back off the post.
But it wasn't just Lewandowski's presence in attack that made the difference. It was actually something of a tweak in Hansi Flick's system that I found to be really interesting. Normally, when Barcelona are playing the 4-2-3-1, the role of the pivots in attack is to get the ball forward quickly enough to turn defense into attack. Pedri or Frenkie would drive forward in transition before releasing the ball for the attackers to score.
Pedri. Rafinha, oh brilliant, and needed that so much, Rafinha!
De Jong leaving those behind him in his wake, Shuri notably. This is Rafinha!
This time, the two pivots were instructed to be more aggressive in attack. Hansi Flick didn't just want them driving forward, he wanted them to join the attack in the box to increase our numbers in attack. This proved crucial as within the first 4 minutes, Barcelona went ahead. It starts from a short corner that ends up with Joao Cancelo. Now, just before he goes out wide to Eric Garcia, look how many players Barcelona had in the box. 6 players. This is more than half the team. Against the low block, you just have to force the issue and get the defending team to crack. It's a brilliant pass out to Eric Garcia, stretches the defense. Marc Bernat, who is one of the pivots, is the player in the more advanced position. Manages to get his leg onto the ball, puts it beyond the onrushing goalkeeper. Barcelona go 1-0 up. But that wasn't all. Another pivot was about to get on the score sheet as well. This time it was Frenkie De Jong getting his first goal of the season. That's when you know something is different. Again, look when Lamine Yamal tries to put in the initial cross. Frenkie De Jong is already running into the box to join the attack. Lamine doesn't find the right angle, so he goes across to Bernat. But Frenkie stays in the box. We need to keep the numbers up to have a chance against this low block. By the time the ball makes its way to Cancelo, Frenkie De Jong is charging in again. Look, he's actually calling for it. This is well rehearsed. Joao Cancelo does brilliantly to spot the signal, but also the timing and the quality on the cross to find Frenkie, pinpoint accuracy. Frenkie De Jong just needs to stay composed and guide the ball past the goalkeeper. Barcelona go 2-0 up. Brilliant. And now I'm thinking Barcelona need to do this more often. Now, this tactic wasn't perfect, and to be fair, no tactic is. Levante had a few opportunities, but nothing quite as clear-cut as we'd seen against recent opposition.
He's going to need some help. Help is arriving. A fabulous pass to it.
However, the defensive issues don't seem to have disappeared, and it left me wondering, could the better team have taken advantage of the gaps left in behind, especially with Joao Cancelo playing so advanced? Possibly. However, I do think that this is where it helps to have the likes of Rafinha out on the left. Guys, for an attacker, this guy's defensive awareness is off the charts. And he showed this all game long as he anticipated Levante's attacks time and time again. I mean, look at this from Rafinha. He's celebrating like he's just scored a goal. Beautiful to see, and I hope the other players start learning and incorporating some of these traits into their games as well. But speaking about defending, there were stretches of the game, particularly in the second half, where Barcelona decided to take the foot off the gas. Now, I thought this was risky as we started conceding chances and inviting Levante back in the game. Again, you wonder if a better team could have taken advantage of this drop in mentality and energy. Remember what we've discussed previously. This high defensive line only works when you have players pressing from the front. Once the press drops, the lines of defense start to widen, and all of a sudden you're putting more pressure on the back four. Hansi Flick didn't like this at all, so in the 66th minute, he made a few substitutions to inject some energy back into the team. This worked so brilliantly. Barcelona were regaining control and creating chances, and come the 81st minute, this happened.
Well, there's number 3.
Those special players that Hansi Flick is on his wing, and we're going to see a lot more because he's going to be also a very key player, not for Barcelona, but also for the national team.
Fermin Lopez is a different type of player within that group, and you can see it. There's certain emotion to the way that he plays, a certain emotion to the way that he celebrated today. It means something.
Guys, this guy is very different. He's not the typical Xavi or Iniesta type profile we've come to expect from Barcelona's midfield. This guy has a shoot-on-sight policy that just suits Hansi Flick's system so well. If you give Fermin a sight on goal, doesn't matter if it's on his left foot or his right foot, this guy will score.
So much space and finds
It was a goal that came from nowhere really. Simple pass again from a short corner. Levante kept backing off into a low block, which leaves all the time and space for Fermin. Team are second bottom of the table, and they've conceded the most goals out of everyone in the league. This was always going to be a walk in the park, so we haven't necessarily slayed the beast. Far from it actually. What we have done, however, is regain the top spot in the league, and with it, some confidence and encouragement going into subsequent games. Speaking of subsequent games, our next match is at home to Villarreal next Saturday, so make sure you are subscribed and you have your notifications turned on so you catch that as soon as it drops. Don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Also, connect with me on Instagram if you haven't already as we continue to discuss some interesting topics on the team. Until next time guys, see you soon. Visca el Barça.